Congress redefined hemp in the 2018 Farm Bill. The goal was to eliminate some of the red tape that kept farmers from adding the crop to their usual rotation of corn and soybeans. But 6 years later, it's rare to see hemp growing in Indiana. As Clayton Baumgarth reports, some farmers learned the hard way that hemp's not worth growing if there's no market for it.
Jason Stonecipher has a stack of rotting hemp bales sitting on his property in Covington, Indiana. This pile's been sitting here for about 2 years.
It hasn't really worked out the way we had originally planned. We're actually still sitting on our 2022 crop because of that change in processing and the whole logistics of shipping that out literally across the nation.
Like a lot of farmers, Stonecipher jumped on the hemp bandwagon following the 2018 Farm Bill. He planted 47 acres in 2022. He signed a contract with a hemp processor based in Idaho who paid him in full for his harvest, but to this day has only made one pickup from the stack. Stonecipher barely broke even on that crop. Still, he was cautiously optimistic, and last year he decided to again plant about 50 acres of hemp.
We still have our 2023 crop that we're sitting on as well.
Those bales are also stacked, and Stonecipher hasn't gotten paid for any of them. This year it was a no-brainer. He didn't plant any hemp.
Unfortunately, here we are with just a corn and soybean rotation, no hemp in that rotation because the market's not there yet. So that's a pretty big bummer to me. But yeah, my plans are to get back into it, as soon as we can.
To grow hemp in Indiana, farmers need to get approval from a state chemist who inspects the THC content of the plant. Then farmers need to pass a background check from the FBI.
We let our local law enforcement know where we were raising our first crop because it looks like marijuana. And, you never want, any sort of, misinformation, if you will.
By all other measures, Stonecipher has nothing but praise for hemp as a crop. It's easy to grow, it's organic, and it doesn't require any new or special equipment. And after harvesting, hemp can become a number of useful things, such as rope for clothing, bioplastics, building materials, food products, and in one case being researched in Texas, batteries.
In the literature, you can find people saying, there are 25,000 different applications, 10,000 different applications, like thousands and thousands. And really what it means is the plant is really versatile and it could go into products where we're using other plants or synthetic materials.
Historically, hemp was viewed as a wonder plant even outside of its uses as a psychoactive substance. In the late 1930s, Popular Mechanics published a piece on hemp and its applications, which led to a resurgence of the crop during World War II.
After World War II, we had production dwindle, and then we had the passing of, the Controlled Substance Act and this war on drugs, and hemp got lumped in in cannabis as an umbrella term, which included hemp.
Even though it's legal now to grow low THC content hemp, Bolt says there's been a lot of uncertainties farmers have had to contend with, including a lack of processors and little information about growing hemp on a large scale.
We don't know what we don't know, and we're trying really hard as researchers to answer these questions and really understand the plant to make it a viable option for farmers. But it's going to take time, and sometimes I think that it can be challenging for people.
According to the Midwest Hemp Council, the United States is behind globally on the hemp industry. Farmers are competing against countries that have been growing hemp efficiently for decades and have managed to get the price down significantly.
I will tell you right now that FlexForm up in northern Indiana can buy their hemp fiber from France, get it shipped here and into their facility ready to use for much less than what we can do it.
As it exists today, growing hemp in the U.S. isn't really profitable. After transporting the crop to an out-of-state processor, Petty says there are too many costs to justify the effort.
There's no point in growing if we can't get them the pricing that they need, and yet still have everyone make a profit as we go. So we're working really hard to bring that facility here.
Many of the problems facing the hemp industry in Indiana could be alleviated by having more processing plants nearby. But these facilities are expensive, and because there are so few in the country, there's often a backlog to get hemp processed.
Even if one of us landed a contract, we would have to partner with another facility to generate the feedstock that they need.
In a time where farmers are looking to diversify their incomes, hemp is in a position to fill that gap. But with only one processing plant currently in Indiana, producers need more places to sell their harvest.
Our senators and our congressmen are always talking about bringing business to the state, my advice to them is let's get some hemp processing into the state. I think there's a bright future for it with all the construction materials that are being looked at and experimented with.
For Indiana News Desk, I'm Clayton Baumgarth.
The current House version of this year's Farm Bill includes a provision that could actually ban the growth of hemp nationwide. The Midwest Hemp Council is optimistic that the bill will be changed before becoming law sometime later this year.